CKLA, 5th grade, Unit 2, Early American Civilizations, Maya, Aztec, Inca. Chapter 1, The Rise of Early American Civilizations. Our understanding of the history of humans living and working together begins in Africa more than 1 million years ago. Over time, humans began to migrate and eventually inhabited 6 continents: Africa, Asia, Europe, Australia, and 2 Americas. That's for sure it was really 1 million years ago, but whatever. Hit that slide. It's probably thousands. Okay, early humans migrated across Earth's continents. As you can see from these arrows, they had to probably take some boats. But anyway, for many thousands of years, early hunter-gatherers traveled from place to place. They fished, hunted animals, and gathered wild plants. Between 12,000 to 5,000 BCE or BC, some groups of people established more permanent villages. Often, these village-based societies relied on farming, raising their own crops for food. Some learned to domesticate animals. Over time, animals were used for more than food in some regions. They helped people plow and fertilize the soil. They supplied milk and provided wool for clothes. As people settled down to farm, their lives changed. People learned to irrigate fields. They developed ways to store food. Populations grew between 4,000 to 2,000 BC. Towns and villages in various places developed into cities. People constructed buildings and worshipped gods. They made pottery and wove cloth. The city dwellers chose leadership and developed laws. Some people governed and others served. Civilizations were born. Civilizations developed from Africa to the Americas. The earliest civilizations arose in fertile river valleys in Africa and Asia. These civilizations flourished along the banks of the Nile, the Indus, the Yellow, the Tigris, and the Euphrates rivers. By 1000 BC, new civilizations arose in the Americas. These early American civilizations are called pre-Columbian civilizations. This is because they developed long before Christopher Columbus's first voyage to the Americas in 1492. 3 of these pre-Columbian civilizations were Maya, Aztec, and Inca. There's a picture of the river valleys providing people with lots of water and fertile land. You need that in order to have civilization. There's North America and South America, and you can see Central America in between. It's central. Mesoamerica. The Maya and Aztec. Mesoamerica, or Middle America, was home to the Maya and the Aztec civilizations. This region lies north of the equator in an area called the tropics. It includes a portion of present-day Mexico in North America and parts of Central America. It occupies much of the isthmus that joins the continents of North America and South America. The present Central American countries of Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and northern Costa Rica are all parts of Mesoamerica. Mesoamerica has very diverse landscapes, including dry coastal deserts and wet inland rainforests. The Yucatan Peninsula is surrounded by water on 3 sides. It lies between the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea, and was home to many Maya. Warm, humid rainforests cover the southern parts of the peninsula. Its lush vegetation supports animals as varied as jaguars, snakes, bats, monkeys, toucans, and quetzal birds. The northern part of the Yucatan is drier and has no rivers, only lakes and swamps. The Yucatan's thousands of deep sinks supply fresh water to the sea, into the area. Water needed in order for settlements to develop. Maya descendants are still there, living along the river, ruins of an ancient civilization. Okay. The Aztec created a magnificent empire. cities under one central government. This empire began north of the Yucatan Peninsula in the Valley of Mexico and extended across much of central Mexico. Surrounded by mountains and volcanoes, it was a land full of wildlife. The wildlife is still there, but only ruins and pyramids mark the landscape with the remains of the Aztec civilization. South America, the Inca. The Inca civilization began high in the Andes Mountains of present-day Peru. It grew to include parts of Ecuador, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. The landscape and climate vary greatly across this enormous stretch of land. Deserts and warm valleys lie beneath frigid snow-capped peaks. Llamas and alpacas are native to this mountainous area. These long-necked animals were domesticated to carry heavy loads and provide wool. Cougars and chinchillas also share the habitat with a wide variety of birds and amphibians and fish. Clues to past civilizations. Archaeologists have discovered much of what we know about the Maya, the Aztec, and the Inca. Archaeologists study the remains of past civilizations. They survey the land where ancient people lived, test the soil, and take photographs. They also map out areas to excavate or dig for artifacts. Archaeologists use shovels, scoops, brushes, and sieves to search for evidence of past human activity. Flaked stone, ceramic shards, bones, and textiles all tell a story. Spanish letters and records also provide information about early American civilizations. Why were the Spanish in the Americas? Starting about 500 years ago, they came in search of riches. They were looking for gold and silver and spices, silk, adventure, and conquest. Isn't everybody? Archaeologists, of course, using their tools. It's very cool. And here we go. Spanish conquest in the Americas. We have Hernan Cortez and Francisco Pizarro. Hernan Cortez and Francisco Pizarro, distant cousins, were two early Spanish explorers. They sailed on separate expeditions from Spain to the Americas in the early 1500s. These Spanish conquistadors, or conquerors, were both interested in more than riches. They wanted to establish colonies for the Spanish king. They brought with them advanced weapons, new animals, and unfortunately, devastating European diseases. Cortez conquered or took control of the Aztec Empire in present-day Mexico. Pizarro conquered the Inca in present-day Peru. The Spaniards imposed their language and religion on the native people. The Spanish wrote about their early experiences in the Americas. As you explore these chapters, you will learn about the history of these three pre-Columbian civilizations, the Maya, the Aztec, and the Incas. So they sought riches, such as gold. This is cool. This is an Aztec pendant. Pretty neat. All right, that's the end of chapter 1. This is Mr. Bowlby. Thank you for joining me.